Fluency in English. What does fluency mean to you? It's a very interesting question, and there are many different thoughts relating to fluency in English. For some, fluency in English means the ability to communicate one's thoughts, ideas, hopes, and dreams with ease, to communicate the same way in which they speak their mother tongue. Fluency in English for them means to understand and to communicate to their respective audience by understanding nuance and the different types of vocabulary. And for them, fluency means to be comfortable, have a sense of confidence while speaking English. Fluency in English for others means to sound like a native or to speak like a native and have native accent. And there are some out there that combine the two. That fluency for them means to speak with ease, like they do with their mother tongue, but they want to speak like a native. Now, interestingly enough, this concept, this tagline, this perceived or description of one narrative, speak like a native or sound like a native, have a native accent, there are within the ESL industry and to some learners, there are perceived benefits. What might some of those benefits be? If you sound like a native, you will be more accepted by the general population, feel less alone. If you sound like a native, you will be taken more seriously. Some people believe it's easier when conducting business to do business with a native. And for some, speaking like a native, it's cool, it's hip. People won't ask me where I'm from, or I don't sound like this, or from this particular country. Now, these are perceived benefits, and it is important, I believe, to recognize that for many out there, perception is reality. Now, certainly, I don't know the intent of learners studying English, nor do I know the intent of content providers that are providing information as it relates to learning and studying English. But when I think about it, I've asked myself, if there is a tagline or one particular narrative out there that prevails currently within the industry and is desired by the majority of people, learners studying English, I've wondered what this tagline, sound like a native or speak like a native, could represent. Perhaps speaking like a native for some means power, acceptance, mobility, and for speaking like a non-native means no power, less than, not enough. It's time to redefine fluency. Why, you might ask? Because words have power. Words have meaning. Recently, while preparing for this video, I was on the internet and I came across a very interesting blog by a gentleman whose name is Robbie, and he happened to be a non-native English speaker. And in his blog, I found two particular paragraphs that he wrote quite interesting, quite revealing. And I want to share those clips in his writings briefly with you.
I have a friend who's a highly successful businessman, and he's told me a good few times that he regrets not having been born a native English speaker. He conducts his business online, and he has to conceal his foreign origin because he knows for a fact that if he were to openly admit that he's a foreigner, he'd lose a massive share of his business overnight because his customers wouldn't trust him anymore. Robbie continues, and to be totally honest with you guys, if I had to choose between two individuals to do business with, all other things being equal, I'd probably go with the one who's a native English speaker. The last paragraph. Yes, there are plenty of honest and hardworking foreign businessmen. Yes, I'm also a foreign English speaker myself, and if I were discriminated against based on my national background, I wouldn't take kindly to it. But it is what it is, and you just have to accept the reality and make the best of what you're given.
Now, I respect what the gentleman said. That is his reality. That's his truth. And that is his experience. And so I think in the course of when I was reading his blog, why I found that so fascinating, why I found that so interesting. The reason why I found his writing in his blog so interesting, so compelling, is because I believe he has expressed sentiments and thoughts that the majority of learners out there have with respect to learning English. That is their reality. But one of the things that I found particularly interesting in what he said, and he has a right to say whatever he wants to say, when he said, accept reality, it is what it is. And that made me start thinking. Reality. Something that is known, something that is lived, that is experienced. Have you used the expression, that's my reality? I don't know about you, but I have used that expression. And what's interesting about it is that when he said that, accept reality, it is what it is. It made me think about my own life. I am an individual who lives in a society that has influence over people directly or indirectly. But accept reality, it is what it is. Now, this is my experience. This is my opinion. This is my truth. I choose not to accept a reality where people are being discriminated against solely because of their accent. I choose not to accept a reality where there are some English learners and some content providers that only want to put English in a box. I choose not to accept a reality in which people are only, not everyone, but a majority of people are having English have or should only have one particular sound, one particular accent, and they associate English with a particular region. Accept that reality? I do not want to accept a reality where those in power and those in privilege would want to make people consciously or subconsciously less than, or make them feel not enough. Accept that reality? Don't I, as an individual, don't you, as an individual, have an opportunity to define what reality means to you as it relates to your English goals? Or are you sitting back, waiting for someone to tell you how to think, how to speak English? What is your reality? But accept reality, it is what it is? For me, that does not work for me. That is their opinion, which I respect. But in my experience, that's a very privileged position to have, or possibly even short-sighted. But one of the reasons why I really respected what he said is because you have many different English learners out there from all over the world that have internalized that statement. It is what it is. I have to sound like a certain way. I have to speak like a native. I have to have accent to be accepted, to have mobility. Not something that is a choice or aspirational, but if I don't do this, if I don't sound like they want me to sound, I will not have the opportunities as other people. So shut up, be quiet, accept it for what it is. It's reality. It is what it is. It's time to redefine fluency. It is time to redefine fluency. Now you might ask the question, what does fluency, redefining, mean to me? Well, it means speak to be heard. Speak to be represented. Speak with ease, with clarity, owning your power, owning who you are by focusing on your clarity and your pronunciation. Redefining fluency to me means to call out bias, call out bigotry, call out ignorance for those that are only defining English in one particular narrative. Redefining fluency means owning your freedom. So that's what redefining fluency means to me. For English is a global, international language. For me, why would I want to use words or phrases that consciously or subconsciously might make another human being feel less than or not enough? And those of you learning English, have you ever thought about why do you even tolerate or accept that? For me, English is a global international language. And if I say that it's global, do I not have a responsibility of showing English in all its diversity? That's something that's important to me. But at the end of the day, learners, fluency, what does it mean to you? This is Teacher Will. Welcome to the ATW family. I'd really love to know what you think about this particular video. Let me know in the comment section. Click on that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so that when I drop a video, you are made aware of it. Fluency, what does it mean to you?